Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin is on the air. Brought to you by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Oak Park Place, offering senior living options with a lifestyle you deserve with amenities and services for a carefree, independent way of life. Wild Rock Golf Club. From 5 sets of tees and expansive greens, it's a course set up to embrace a challenge for scratch golfers to resort guests. Also by Zimbrick European. Why drive something ordinary when you can drive something extraordinary? University Ridge Golf Course, a public course that offers something for players of every ability and is the home of the Badgers men's and women's golf team. And by the Alzheimer's Association. Now, here are your co-hosts for Talking Golf.
Okay, gentlemen, mics are on.
Dennis Tiziani, who's a member of the Wisconsin Golf Hall of Fame, and longtime Madison sportscaster Paul Braun.
Welcome to another round of Talking Golf on the Golf Effect Radio Network from TPC, Wisconsin. Here in Madison, along with Dave McCann, our engineer, Dennis Tiziani. I'm Paul Braun. On tonight's show, we're going to talk a lot about St. Andrews because we got 3 guests who have played St. Andrews. Dennis is one of them. Jordan Niebrugge is another one. He played it back in 2015. And Gary D'Amato has played.
Where hasn't he played?
That tells you a little bit about what he does. But anyway, get an interesting perspective. Dennis has got some stories on St. Andrews. And Jordan, he's got to have some fond memories there. He finished 6th place and was a low amateur.
Still.
Yeah.
Lowest score ever.
And also on tonight's show, comments from Jerry Kelly, who won the battle with Steve Stricker over the weekend, and also Pat Stein, the general manager of Wild Rock Golf Course in Wisconsin Dells, is going to be on with us. That really is a nice golf course. It's a tough golf course.
Wisconsin Dells?
Yeah,
Wild Rock. From all the way back?
Yeah.
It's hard to play it.
Yeah.
From all the way back.
Yeah.
And I tried it a couple of holes, then we moved up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to play. It's got all the stuff, you know.
And another great battle between Jerry and Steve yesterday at the tournament.
It was very good. Jerry, I got to see him when he came home. We spent some time together, and he was happy as hell, you know.
Well, he should be.
Well, but he made a comment. That shot he hit on 13.
Yeah.
It's the best one he's ever hit.
Yeah, we got the audio of him
saying
do? That.
Yeah, he did. That was really great. He makes a birdie, Steve makes 5. That's the game right there, you know.
And he talked about that as that was one of the key situations in that match. And also he mentioned the 15th hole, too, where Steve 3-putted.
Yeah.
Right? And then, of course, the play on the 13th hole, like you just said.
That in the 16th, he made a good putt. He played great, though. I'm happy for him. He's a favorite, as you know, Jerry is. And he's got a great family. I got to see his wife again and got to see Cooper. You know, his son was there. But down to earth. I mean, I got 2 guys that just played on national TV standing there where yakking back and forth. You didn't think it was anything, you know.
Yeah.
And all the families were there. So, good stuff. And all from Madison, Wisconsin.
We're going to talk a little bit about that later on in the show. There's a couple of others. You look at what Madison has done in terms of their representatives with Sherry Steinauer, Andy North. I'm going to put you and Larry in that category. And then, of course, you got Steve and Jerry. And you go, wait a minute. Yeah. Everybody from one city making all those contributions in golf?
Right.
Charles Schwab Cup. Steve Elker is number 1 after this weekend's tournament. Strick is number 2, and Jerry's right behind him, about $10,000 at number 3. Steve kind of making rumblings about, I may have to take a look at competing for that cup. Do you think that's realistic?
Oh, yeah, he's getting there. This was set him back. I don't know if it set him back, but I'm sure he was disappointed. He played pretty good. He gave it away. Jerry earned it, but there was some help there.
Steve looked a little upset on 13.
Yeah, what's he doing over there to the left? But, that's golf also, you take a look at how much preparation and time he's had for stuff. He plays, they're playing pretty good, both of them. So I know that he wasn't upset. And what was good for me, as you know, that family thing, when I see both families together and they're all there, it was 8-10 people there, laughing and jigging. They both came home on the airplane together. I mean, the guys
that's unique in itself.
Yeah, but to see how family transcends what went on there was really nice for me to see. It could very peaceful.
Steve did mention in the press conference down at the tournament he's having mid-back issues, which he's never had before. He attributes part of that to the situation in the hospital with the illness and also with COVID and that kind of thing. Do you think physically he's changing, and would that become a concern for him in terms for the future?
Well, he's 55 now, so physically it's not the same, although he hits the ball good. He drives it very far. He's got a little bit of pain. And I don't know how much that little bit is, but, he had back surgery. He had that little fix not too long ago. So it was nothing that's new. But I just know that you continue to play like these guys do. They work out. Their muscles start breaking bones. They're hitting the ground in submissive positions. I mean, something's got to give,
After all those years.
After all that time. So if he just does what he's doing is to pick his play, so he plays, every month, 2 times a month, it'd be pretty good. Make a little milk money for the kids, that type of thing.
And by the way, Jerry Kelly had some comments after winning the tournament. The win gave him his second major in the last 3 years, and more importantly, maybe a spot in next March Players' Championship.
I'm really excited to go back to Sawgrass next March. I mean, that was a big piece of the desire in winning this tournament. That's one of those great things that we have with our majors, that we get to go play, the high point of golf. So I'm really excited about that. But, it's always such a great tournament at a great golf course like this, and to come out on top is pretty cool.
The win was also very special because his wife, Carol, was with him at the tournament. It's been mentioned many times she's taking treatments for cancer, and the fact that she was there was very special.
Just the fact that she's here this week, it may not be our normal restaurant-laden place or the hotel that is our favorite on tour, but the golf course is that special. And she's like, you know what, I want to be there for you. I love that golf course. It's really cool just to be out there. This is a different world once you step inside these gates over here. It's an awesome spot. So I love it that she can appreciate that, and that she wanted to come here. And she gave me the words stepping out of the car. She just said, it doesn't matter what happens. I want to see the attitude be up the entire time. And, the lid was on the hole for a long time. And, I was rolling my eyes, but I was doing it with a smile on my face like I used to a little bit more. And that was keeping me in a positive frame of mind, knowing that it would come to me because of that. So, that was all her with that attitude thought.
And the key point in the tournament, we've chatted about a little bit briefly already, involved the 10th, the 13th, and the 15th holes, and Steve in competing with Jerry.
On 10, he showed me the line, and I came up just short the same way he came up just short. So he showed me the line, came up just short, and I'm like, just hit a little harder. And that really helped me get that one to the hole after seeing what happened on 10. Uncharacteristic of him with a 3-putt on 15. I made a good up and down, but the shot of the tournament for me was out of the trees on 13. That was one of the best shots of my life, and it checked perfectly into that hill. I didn't even know if I'd be able to fly it that far. I thought I might have to roll it up, but when it came out hot, that's when I knew it had to sit down, and it just dug right in and got really close. So that was my first birdie. So that kind of opened the door. I told Blackmar, I said, I just needed an easy hole.
And every tournament has breaks that normally will determine who the champion is.
It doesn't matter if it's a major. It's any tournament, and you just see, there it was. There's the break, or there's the shot, or there's the putt. There's always something that separates, and then, if they let the mental take over and be like, okay, whether that was luck or not, that was really good, and I know I can do this. So then you keep going forward. You just got to feed off of it.
And those two guys are doing pretty well. I looked it up today. Steve is 16th on the all-time money-winning list. Jerry Kelly's 46th. And between them, they've won almost $75 million. That's not bad.
No, ice cream. No, they're pretty good. But this is indicative. I'll tell you about Jerry. You take a look at that family, that culture. When we were all there, and keep in mind, Jerry's wife is Jim Schuman's sister.
Sure.
So now you bring in another family, another family and stuff together. So for me, it's great to see and be a part of, a very small part, but be a part of what that is all about there. That friendship is good, and it does not get in the way of competition.
We're going to check in with the guy that used to give instruction to Jordan Niebrugge, and we'll do that after this timeout on the Golf Effect Radio Network.
Yeah.
When it's time for an adventure on the open highway, one quick call to American Family Insurance gets you headed in the right direction. Our travel peace of mind package is there if you encounter a bump in the road. From roadside assistance to rental car coverage, we have you covered. Find a local agent or get a quote at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
After 60 years, Cherokee Country Club is now officially known as TPC Wisconsin. Right now, the course and the clubhouse are going through an extensive renovation. When the project is complete, TPC Wisconsin will have a course, club, facilities, and services that'll be second to none in the Badger State. Members will not only have a challenging experience playing the course, but they'll enjoy fine dining experiences and award-winning golf instruction. For more information on becoming a member at TPC Wisconsin, call 608-249-1000. That's 608-249-1000.
This is Paul Brown for Oak Park Place.
Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing you the right balance of care centered around their lifestyles. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Enjoy the comforts of your apartment with an abundance of events just outside your door. Oak Park Place Senior Living with the locations in Madison, Janesville, and Baraboo. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells, a Herdston Fry masterpiece, is one of the premier golf destinations in the Midwest. Wild Rock provides a true test of your skill, combined with some of the most stunning vistas you're ever going to encounter on a Wisconsin golf course. Download the new free Wild Rock app. It's a true game changer and lets you stay up to date and receive special promotions regarding all things Wild Rock. Bring your A game, folks. The Rock is waiting for you. Visit wildrockgolf.com. wildrockgolf.com.
Hi, this is Paul Brown, longtime Badger sportscaster. My wife was only 57 years old when she started having trouble remembering things at work and getting lost driving home. That was the start of a heartbreaking 8-year journey that led to her eventual passing from Alzheimer's. Please don't ignore the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. Find information at alz.org/Wisconsin. This message was made possible through the generous support of Oak Park Place Foundation. Back at TPC Wisconsin in Madison, along with Dennis Tiziani, I'm Paul Brown, and you and I have been doing this show for 11 years, and there are very few people that stayed up until midnight or 1 in the morning, because that's where they were at the time when we were doing the show. And our guest is one of those few guys, and that was Jordan Niebrugge. And he had just been at the Open Tournament over at St. Andrews, and we're talking 2015, where he finished 6th place, won the silver medal for the low amateur round. And he's joining us. Jordan, at least you're in the same time zone, I think, now, huh?
I am, yes.
When you look back on that, the memories that come up from your play that weekend, what comes to mind?
To be honest, a lot of stuff. Probably first off, walking out during that ceremony to get the silver medal. Also, they had a 3-man playoff for the championship between, I believe it was Louis, Shane Lowry, and Zach Johnson. So I got to watch that with everybody around up in the clubhouse in the balcony there, which was awesome. I had a really great caddy that week from the club that has actually caddied for me a couple other times. And one was European Tour School and a couple other times. So I've got to see him in the last couple of years. And so, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I remember that week.
What do you remember about the golf course? For all of us that have never been there, never played it, obviously the history of that place is kind of self-explanatory. What are your memories of playing that course? What was unusual about it?
I would say the biggest thing is, I mean, a lot of the courses out there are out to in. So you play the front 9 and go one direction, and then you play the back 9 and come back to the clubhouse. So that's different than like kind of American golf. But a lot of the holes are right next to each other. So if you hit it, say you hit it, everything's left. So if you hit it left and you sprayed it left, like you're going to be in the other fairway coming from the other side of the back 9. So that was kind of interesting. And the other interesting thing about it is the greens. I don't know how many total double greens they have, but I think it's right around 12 or 14. So the green complexes are huge, and I think even maybe 6 is a par 5. I think 6 is a par 5. I think that green is 105 yards long. So I remember having like 180 to the front and 280. It was like a back pin, like 3 off the back, and it was like 277 to the pin. And you're just sitting there, like, it doesn't look that long, but I mean, it's crazy how big those greens are. But they can put them in sections where it doesn't even matter how big the greens are. You're kind of just heading to this specific target. That's probably the biggest thing I remember.
We're chatting with Jordan Niebrugge, who was born in Missouri, I believe, and grew up in Mequon. And him and Mark Wilson are the only 2 guys to win the Wisconsin Slam, the 4 events in the state. And Dennis, you've worked with Jordan over the years and that kind of thing, and you know his game and that type of thing. What's on your thought process?
Well, in his formative time, when he was going to school, haven't seen him, recently. I mean, really recently. I saw him here a while back. He had done some things in Florida, and he's, I think, going through that process of trying to be his own best player, which is what we try to do, is to give him enough stuff so that can happen. But I think that so far he's underachieved. I don't know if it's about him underachieving, but sometimes, and I know that his physical capability was a lot better than the mental stuff was to start with, and as he gets older, I'm sure that he's going to get better because, he's big and he's strong, he hits the ball, everything about it is really good. Moved to Florida, a while back, and that's when I kind of lost track. He's down in Florida, and I know he was doing some things there. We chatted a little bit, or he came here a little bit after, and got back to what I thought was some normal stuff. But, his history is in his future. That's what I think. That one day it's going to hit where both of that physical ability and mental capability catch up to one another and move ahead in a strong way. And I think that now that I think he's on his own a little bit more now. I know that, he was not being prodded certainly, but he was moving ahead. His dad was involved, and that's something we talked about anyway. Becomes his own man, and I think that's where he's getting to be. So you're going to hear about him. It's just a matter of time here, and he's going to get going. Nobody does what he did as an amateur,
exactly,
and cannot succeed going forward. I mean, that's just not the way it is. But he's just a good guy, and I'm glad he finished school.
And you're on the correction, if I'm wrong here, Jordan, you're on the Corn Ferry Tour now, correct? And where are you in your mind with your game? What's your current status as you would view it?
So I lost Corn Ferry status last year. I had it the last 4 years. So this year's been a bit difficult, but at the same time, I've been able to, work on my game, and I feel like this summer has been pretty important to me, and being able to work on some stuff, kind of getting back to what I had been doing in the past. Recently just kind of started working on drawing the ball again, like I did when I was growing up and through college, and even first year or so as a pro. And I kind of moved away from that the last couple of years, and it's been a bit of a struggle. But this summer has been great, being able to get back to that, being able to have time to work back, to like look back at some of my previous swings when I was growing up and kind of trying to emulate that. And I've definitely been a lot more comfortable out on the golf course. I've gotten hurt a few times this year, so it's kind of had a couple setbacks, but overall, I'm pretty happy of like where I'm at, and just kind of itching for, get a chance to, an opportunity to go play, and at the very least, just kind of geared up for Q School in the fall here.
And Dennis mentioned his abilities. Just Wisconsin Match Play Championship, U.S. Amateur Public Links Champ, Wisconsin State Amateur Champ, Western Amateur Champ. You're talking about those abilities there. Jordan, can you put into perspective for people, we all love to play golf, but we can only dream about being at the next level and that kind of thing. What have you learned about how difficult it really is to be at that top level?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it both ways. I think if you overanalyze stuff and you overthink stuff, I think it can be really difficult. And that's kind of where I've fallen over the last couple of years. And I feel like everybody's different, but the simpler I can make golf, usually the better I play, and it makes everything so much easier out on the course, where you can just get out there and play how you're supposed to, and hit fairways, hit greens, and if you're comfortable with how you're hitting it, and you're comfortable with seeing the same shot shape every time, it's honestly, it's tough to play bad golf. So that's kind of where my mindset is now. And the simpler you can make it, I think the easier the game gets.
What would you say your strengths as a player are?
Well, it had been ball striking growing up. I was a really good ball striker. I hit 15, 16 greens around, which is high, and it made it easy to score well. I had a lot of looks at birdie, and not too many times I had to get up and down to save par. So it made it pretty stress-free. Over the last 2 years, my ball striking has just not been there. So it's been tough, but at the same time, I've gotten a lot of work with my short game and putting. So that's just getting better and better. And once I can, this summer it's been big for me, and I'm starting to hit the ball really well. So pretty excited for the rest of this year, and going into next year as well.
Dennis, any final thoughts before we let Jordan go?
Yeah, 90 west to Highway 30, Packers Avenue, and on to Wheeler Road. But I'd like to see him again.
Does that sound familiar, Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we appreciate it, the fact that you reminisced a little bit about the Open, and all the best to you. Good luck, and hope you have a lot of success down the road, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
That's Jordan Niebrugge. And we'll be back with Gary D'Amato after this time out on the Golf Effect Radio Network.
Drew and Jonathan Scott here to tell you that American Family Insurance wants to protect your dreams. So whether you're at home singing in the shower,
Every note,
or prefer singing your heart out in the car like Drew,
cruising
insane! You can save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Sculpted by glaciers and played by champions, University Ridge Golf Course is the host site of the American Family Insurance Championship and UW golf teams. The Ridge is a public golf course and it's yours to play without a costly membership. University Ridge is now accepting advanced reservations for the entire golf season. To get your prime tee time reserved, call 608-845-7700 or visit universityridge.com. Play where the Badgers and the pros play. University Ridge.
Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing you the right balance of care centered around their lifestyles. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Enjoy the comforts of your apartment with an abundance of events just outside your door. Oak Park Place Senior Living with locations in Madison, Janesville, and Baraboo. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf on the internet and on your radio dial. The voices of golf in Wisconsin.
We're back at TPC Wisconsin from Madison, along with Dave McCann, our chief engineer, Dennis Tiziani. I'm Paul Brown, and joining us now to spar with you, Mr. Tiziani, is Gary D'Amato of Wisconsin.golf. And I'm going to tell you something. I just looked this up. Gary's a senior writer for Wisconsin.golf. If you go to their website right now, there is 7 articles that he's written that are all listed on Wisconsin.golf. You talk about a guy that's been busy. Huh?
Well, he's...
You got to turn your cell phone off.
I was trying to get it on here so we could see myself on TV, but I didn't work.
Welcome, Gary. We've already covered Steve and Jerry over the weekend, but quickly, your thoughts on those two guys.
Yeah, boy, I was riveted to that. That was a great final round by Jerry, and Steve hung in there and made late birdie. And I did something for I put their stats together for a column I write called The Sweet Spot that posts on Mondays on Wisconsin.golf. Those two guys have finished in the top 10 together in the same tournament 15 times since 2017.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, every time you look at a leaderboard, both those guys are on it. It seems like it's crazy how good both of those guys are playing right.
Gary, Dennis and I were talking about this a little earlier on the show. What other city in America can talk about having 2 U.S. Open titles in Andy North, the success that Sherry Steinhauer had when she was on the LPGA Tour? We're talking about Steve and we're talking about Jerry. And then I throw in Dennis and Larry for the hundreds of kids, plus the other things they've done in golf. Give me another city in America that can lay claim to that kind of thing.
Yeah, there probably isn't one. Maybe Dallas, which is 10 times as big as Madison. But yeah, Madison stands alone in the Midwest certainly for producing great golfers. No question about it.
And I want to recap briefly some of the articles you wrote, and then he has a story he wants to tell us about St. Andrews. He's played it, so we'll save the best for last. You wrote an article in Wisconsin.golf on Golf Tech. With their 4 locations in the state, they've given over 400,000 lessons to golfers. That sounds pretty impressive.
It is, very much so. We should have some pretty good players pretty soon then. Yes?
Gary?
No?
Yeah, it's
Go ahead.
yeah,
Gary.
it's oh, sorry. Yeah, it's really you know, they kind of golf had kind of revolutionized the way golf is taught. You know, before they came along, 20 years ago, golf was taught most ranges and at clubs, by PGA professionals. And now, they moved it indoors. They moved it into bays with all this technology, and a lot of other people followed suit. And now you can, you never have to step on a golf course or range to take lessons. It's preferable. I think you want to see ball flight and all that stuff, but then I agree with that. But yeah, they kind of revolutionized the way golf is taught, and they have run a lot of golfers through their 4 locations in Wisconsin.
And your interpretation of that would be, wouldn't it, to interpret the video in terms of what you're doing? Everybody's different.
I think they do good. And if anything that you do for good is good for golf, and that's what they've done, got people interested. Now keep in mind I'm a little bit old school. So, some of the stuff that I see in that video, you still have to know how to correct that. Right. It's not the club.
And everybody's different.
And
right?
everyone's
for
different.
the same problem.
Right. But, it's part of the deal of the commercialism that's going on. And Golf Tech took over where PGA left off. Because I take a look, and you know how I feel about this. Some of our people have become more credit card collectors and the like. And playing is not always the number one thing. And teaching is not always the number one thing. It's being part of the administration that goes and making the golf and taking care of members and stuff like that. So I'm happy that they did, and there's other groups like that also. However, interpreting that is one thing, and giving them the answer is another. And we can take a look at the obvious, but what makes that work? So we still have to learn the physics.
Gary, you also wrote an article on the Wisconsin Golf Hall of Fame. This year's group has been announced as to who will be inducted. Give us a rundown.
Yeah, 3 very, very good inductees. Carolyn Burnett Howe, longtime player and teacher up in Appleton. She has a great playing record, won the Wisconsin State Women's Open 4 times, and she's also a great teacher. She's put 200 kids she's helped get on college golf teams on all levels, Division 1, 2, 3, NAI, junior college, whatever, but 200 people she's helped put on college golf teams. That's a pretty big statement. And then, who was a longtime volunteer with all the state organizations and also runs UPLA, the Wisconsin Public Links Association, and runs the Ray Fisher. And I think it started at Cherokee all those years ago.
Right.
And the third person going in the Hall of Fame is Frances Hadfield. Now, that name won't be familiar to a lot of people. She died in 1953, but she was one of the best amateurs in the country in like the teens and 20s, like we're talking 100 years ago. And she beat Glenna Collette-Vare in a big invitational in Florida, one of her many victories. And Glenna Collette-Vare was one of the best female players, amateurs ever, and the PGA names its scoring leader after her. So yes, so 3 really good inductees going in later this year.
And one final note on your stories, and then we're going to move on to St. Andrews and the Open. Kohler going to get that 5th course?
Yeah, they still have one little legal challenge to go, but the Wisconsin Supreme Court cleared an obstacle for Kohler to build that 5th course, and I think it's just a matter of time for Pete Dye laid out a course south of Sheboygan on the bluff, similar to Whistling Straits kind of land that Kohler Company owns near Kohler Andre State Park. And Pete Dye laid out the course, and then of course he died. So somebody's going to come in and finish it one of these days, and I'm really curious to see who Kohler hires to finish that Dye course for his 5th course.
And now let's move on to St. Andrews. We had Jordan Niebrugge on a little bit, reminiscing about his playing there in 2015. You've played there, right? What's your memories and highlights of St. Andrews?
Well, a quick story, but it's my best day ever on a golf course. I after Kohler Company bought the Old Course Hotel, they invited me to play in a Ryder Cup competition between 12 U.S. golf writers and 12, Irish, Scottish, English golf writers. And we finished with singles matches on the Old Course. I woke up, looked out the window, and a lot of people exaggerate what the golf conditions are like, but I'm not exaggerating. It was 45 degrees. It was raining horizontally. The flag sticks were bent in half. And it was, cold, windy. And I just thought there's no way we're going to play today. But we played. Long story short, I was 2 down after 2 holes, miserable as could be. Wanted to walk off the course. And my caddy handed me my 3-wood on the 3rd tee. And he said, "Mate, I just want you to take a 3/4 swing and bunt it where I tell you. I'm going to keep you out of all the bunkers, and your opponent's going to hit his driver all over the map, and we're going to beat him." Well, I wound up winning the match 3-1 on the road hole. I closed them out in the pouring rain, and then the guy shook my hand and walked in, and I played the 18th hole alone with my caddy, just the 2 of us in the pouring rain. And I don't know, nothing I ever do in golf is that was a magical day. Nothing will compare with that.
Is that your highlight of golf?
That is my big highlight for sure, no doubt.
See? That's a legitimate story.
What did he shoot?
Well, he always gets back to this, Gary.
What did you shoot?
What's the bottom line of what you shot?
It was match play. It doesn't matter what I shot.
There you go.
Why did you play the last hole then? Who were you playing against? When you played the last hole for nothing, you were going
I was a bunch over par, but he was more over par. Let's put it that way.
Now we're cooking, yeah. That's pretty good. That was the right thing to do, though. That's where that 3/4 swing comes from. That's where knock down and turn it in comes from, is playing those courses. It's windy. They made the clubs for that way, long hosels. When you have a long hosel, the sweet spot moves closer to the hosel. And when you turn the ball right to left, you're working from the center towards the hosel. So, all of that stuff dictated by the golf course and the weather they played.
Gary, let's get to Dennis a little bit here. For Dennis,
sure.
Seriously, for you, what were your highlights of playing at St. Andrews?
Well, I liked all those holes. It was fairly nice day. It was windy. I had a caddy at St. Andrews who caddied for Bobby Jones in his former when he was over there. And when we played around, I was playing really, pretty good. And I asked him, how I compared to Bobby Jones.
So that was a mistake.
It was. He says, "Well, laddie, you hit the ball pretty good. You hit it pretty far, but you got to work on your short game a little bit compared to Bobby Jones." But it was great. I mean, I enjoyed the whole thing about it. I can see how those players that are coming from there play our courses here that are similar. And, of course, over here we're playing a lot of courses that are, patterned after those courses. So consequently, when the Ryder Cup people come over, they get a little bit of a advantage. And at the last Ryder Cup, we changed a few things, made the fairways a little bit narrower and no runoff areas. So now they had to play American golf a little bit, and it showed up. So
you mentioned you can hardly see a lot of the 200 traps, right? And Gary, did you feel the same way?
Yeah, you can't see them.
Oh, yeah. It was just my opponent opened his umbrella on the first tee, and it literally blew apart. All the spines broke. It was so windy and raining, pelting rain. And I got to say one more thing. My caddy promised to keep me out of the bunkers, and I did not hit it in a single bunker on the Old Course that day. So
you and Tiger Woods, huh?
No, don't go there. No. But there are some really good things there. The 17th hole, which I think is almost an unfair hole. You gotta almost hit it over the hotel that's there to get it somewhere in play. And then if you don't get it quite on the right-hand side of the fairway, you can't play because you got to come over a bunker. There is no green. Then there's the road hole. But there's some interesting things there. Right along that road hole, there's Tom Morris's golf shop is right there, right off to the right side. And I got to see a few other things like did you see the white mast, the ship mast that's behind the 18th green? Did you see that, Gary?
I did not, no.
That's the mast of the Cutty Sark. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, no.
Do you know what Cutty Sark is?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's the Massanutten Care Center. Well, I would go by there, take a right-hand turn, go down up a block, down a half a block, and there was a fellow there named Laurie Ochterlony. Can you remember that name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to be a good friend. So I spent a lot of time, a couple days there with him, building clubs and learning about being a club maker that he did. And when he came over here, he came to see me here. I got to see him. He passed away now. And, did you get into the clubhouse?
I did. They let us go in the clubhouse. I don't know if we didn't get the big grand tour, but I did see the claret jug behind the glass there, the real one.
Did you go in the locker room? Did you go in the locker room?
No, I didn't go in the locker room.
Well, there you missed it. There's the lockers there, and of course they're just slide out lockers. But there's the penitence benches there. Do you remember that? The penitence bench?
No.
Years ago, or when they played, when you got done golfing, you went in the locker room and you sat there and you contemplated and you went over your round. It's called a penitence bench. It's like a church pew, and you sit there and you think about your round. Different than now. Our guys don't. They go in the bar and drink beer. They don't sit there and think about the round of golf. And then right around the corner, I was able to get in there, and of course I had a grand tour. There's a whole bunch of clubs on the side there, and one of the clubs was. Forget his name. I told you this guy's name, and it was his driver was in there, and I got to take it out of
it Bobby Jones?
No, I got to take it out and shake it a little bit, and it was really light because it was dry. But I run right across the hall. There's a vault. Did you get to see the vault?
I didn't know.
Inside that vault, when you open that vault up, all the lights go on, and inside there's just hundreds of gold artifacts, golf balls and clubs and all kinds of things that the various princes and princes from all the provinces there in the English sector, they give for the Open. And they've got it all in there inside of that deal. So you didn't see, what the hell were you doing there? You didn't see anything there.
I wasn't as important as you, I guess.
Right. Well, those were all the nice parts, what I told you, and like I said, all the place, the club the makers there, because Ochterlony, he had to go ahead to make, all his clubs are probably 18, 24 inches long, if that long. He makes every club and got the bag, and you got to wind them and do this and do that. Then you give that to a particular group that determines whether you're a club maker or not. And based on that deal, that's when you get the club maker. And, I took one of his drivers. It was a D9, like today's, normally they're C8, 9, D1, D2. This was D9. It was heavy. But they had a little bit of a counterbalancing effect inside of the shaft and the like. So to get all that stuff from a guy who does that, that was really, really something.
Would you two guys say that for people that love to play golf and have never been there and they had a bucket list, would St. Andrews maybe be at the top of that bucket list if you could do it, if you wanted to first?
Any one of those. Carnoustie is that way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fabulous in the history that's behind it and the players that played. But you can see why golf today is different than it is over there, and how they make the clubs today are different to accommodate what's going on. I mean, you couldn't send the ball up in the air like that on a normal day. The wind would blow you back. I can remember when we went over there, the first time I've been there three times, the second time in that international 4-ball, but I was playing a regular ball like we have now, and hit it as hard as I could into the wind. It wouldn't go no 200 yards at the most, so I had to go ahead and get the small ball in order to play. Now, the small ball is good until you hit it in the rough. Then it settles down. It's like an agate, goes to the bottom. But the big ball stayed on the top a little bit. So if you're into golf and you're into the history and want to know about that stuff, and Ireland's the same. They got some great courses, Irish courses too. But that's the one that you want to play. In fact, I think it got Tiger's attention to go there to play in this Open.
Yeah.
It's the 150th one. But he's right. When the wind blows there, wow, you can barely stand up,
What a great memory that we got from you two guys on the Open, obviously, is this weekend. Gary, thanks a lot for helping out here. And I like it that you didn't back down to Tiz on anything.
Oh, yeah, you still didn't tell me to score.
We'll be back.
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you.
After this timeout on the Golf Effect Radio Network.
When it's time for an adventure on the open highway, one quick call to American Family Insurance gets you headed in the right direction. Our travel peace of mind package is there if you encounter a bump in the road. From roadside assistance to rental car coverage, we have you covered. Find a local agent or get a quote at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
After 60 years, Cherokee Country Club is now officially known as TPC Wisconsin. Right now, the course and the clubhouse are going through an extensive renovation. When the project is complete, TPC Wisconsin will have a course, club, facilities, and services that'll be second to none in the Badger State. Members will not only have a challenging experience playing the course, but they'll enjoy fine dining experiences and award-winning golf instruction. For more information on becoming a member at TPC Wisconsin, call 608-249-1000. That's 608-249-1000.
Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells, a Herdston Fry masterpiece, is one of the premier golf destinations in the Midwest. Wild Rock provides a true test of your skill combined with some of the most stunning vistas you're ever going to encounter on a Wisconsin golf course. Download the new free Wild Rock app. It's a true game changer and lets you stay up to date and receive special promotions regarding all things Wild Rock. Bring your A game, folks. The Rock is waiting for you. Visit wildrockgolf.com. wildrockgolf.com.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Hi, this is Matt LePay, voice of Badgers football and basketball. At this very moment, there are more than 198,000 individuals in Wisconsin serving as caregivers for a loved one living with dementia. Connect them to support through the Alzheimer's Association's 24/7 helpline. One call, thousands of answers, all free of charge. Call 800-272-3900 today. This message made possible through the generous support of Oak Park Place.
We're back on TPC Wisconsin along with Dennis Tiziani. I'm Paul Brown, and joining us now is the number one guy up there at Wild Rock Golf Course in Wisconsin Dells, Pat Stein. Pat, how many years? Over 20 you've been involved up there?
Just going on, started the 21st year at Wild Rock. So a lot of interesting things, seen a lot of things, and been quite an adventure.
You said last year that you guys had a record year. Is that carrying over to this summer as well, despite gas prices?
Yeah, it really has. It's hard to measure against last year because last year was so good. But this year is, we've seen numbers very comparable to what we had last year. The doesn't seem gas prices and that have really slowed the golf destination down yet.
Dennis and I were talking a little earlier on the show. My first job in radio was in Wisconsin Dells. So I go back to the days of the Delview and
Sure.
Mike Schnarr as the head coach or head professional.
Yeah.
And but the Delview, part of that was the old golf cars, right?
Yeah, so the Delview, this is actually Wild Rock's, believe it or not, the third golf course that's been on this property. But yeah, Delview, original golf course, and a lot of when they built the resort, a lot of that went on to what was the Delview golf course. And a little bit of it was used back in the Wilderness Woods days when we had our Little Links course. But now all those holes from the original Delview are now gone, and like I said, that's mostly where the resort is now. But yeah, it's hard to believe that Wilderness has been home to 3 different golf courses. So,
how would you describe Wild Rock for the person that plays golf and is listening and maybe has never been there? Dennis describes it, especially like from the back tees, as one of the tougher courses, but great places to play in Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wild Rock is what I would describe as a very playable golf course for anyone. We've hosted events from all the way from U.S. Open qualifying this year. We'll have the Net Partners Championship this fall. So it sets up for golfers of any ability with the 5 sets of tees. You can make it as tough as you want it to be. So it's very forgiving off the tee boxes, but around the around green complexes, 100 yards in, it's where it's really going to challenge you.
Two-parter, Sand Valley. Has that helped you guys in any way, shape, or form? And are the golf courses in the Dells now a destination place in your mind?
Sand Valley has, without a question, helped. We've seen, especially at Wild Rock, a lot of groups that are going to or coming back from Sand Valley. It just adds another golf course in this part of the state that makes it definitely more of a destination area. And yeah, I would say that Dells, with its location, has definitely become a destination area. We're an hour from Sand Valley, couple hours to Erin Hills, couple hours to Kohler. I mean, from the Dells, it's easy travel to any of those golf courses. So yeah, we've definitely seen, especially our group business, benefit from Sand Valley. There's no question.
Dennis, what do you like about Wild Rock as a golf course? What do you see?
Well, I see, again, it's kind of easy to drive because it's fairly open, but when you get on the greens, it's a little bit different. It's got some movement. But, I can't help but think of something. I played up there once a long time ago. There was one left-handed player that played the first hole. Was it at Wild Rock?
Yes, it was.
This guy went sideways. He hits it there, and he hits a good drive, and he hits the second shot. Then he makes the putt for an eagle. All the buttons popped off of his shirt, and then I had to tell him what I really thought, that was really a lot better than he was that he played. Can you remember that?
Pat, I went from the most euphoric moment of my golf career, and 10 seconds later, I'm told you're not that good.
He did, though. He hit it on the green about 12, 15 feet and made it second shot at 3.
Eagle to par 5.
All on his own.
In front of Dennis Tiziani. And he goes, "You're not that good."
That's right. That was pretty fun. No, I really like going there. And something about Eagle, I get a lot of feedback back because a number of our members are going there. He was very helpful in making us go ahead and do our golf course, and our people have a place to go. But I just wanted to pass on that our people were very impressed on the type of service that they received at Wild Rock. That was their comment from me.
And one final thought before we let you go. Wild Rock, we have 50 passes from Wild Rock that we're selling at $60 a piece. That's a pretty good price, isn't it, Pat?
Yeah, that's a great price. Normally right now we're at $89. So, that's a substantial savings. And, it's a great way to come up and play some golf. Great, it goes to a great cause.
We had 50 passes originally at the start of the year. Some of them have been sold. Some of them are left. You get an opportunity. The money comes to the Golf Effect charity. You can write it off, and you get to go to Wild Rock and ride and play the golf course for $60. And all you got to do, if you're interested in taking a group of 4 or maybe a group of 8 up there and go up there and play, go to the golfeffect.org website, and on that website, just click on Wild Rock Passes. You can order them. You pay for them on PayPal and I almost said Cherokee.
I know, you almost did. I pushed the button.
TPC Wisconsin will send it to you, and we'll those passes are going to go, so you might want to think about getting them right away. Pat, thanks for joining us on the show.
Pat. Thank you.
And thanks for your help and all the
guys,
best.
It's been a pleasure. Enjoyed talking to you.
Take care. We'll be back after this time out on the Golf Effect Radio Network.
Drew and Jonathan Scott here to tell you that American Family Insurance wants to protect your dreams. So whether you're at home singing in the shower,
every note,
or prefer singing your heart out in the car like Drew,
cruising,
you can save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Sculpted by glaciers and played by champions, University Ridge Golf Course is the host site of the American Family Insurance Championship and UW golf teams. The Ridge is a public golf course and it's yours to play without a costly membership. University Ridge is now accepting advanced reservations for the entire golf season. To get your prime tee time reserved, call 608-845-7700 or visit universityridge.com. Play where the Badgers and the pros play. University Ridge. This is Paul Brown for Oak Park Place. Oak Park Place Memory Care Communities provide seniors and their loved ones peace of mind. Residents find purpose in their day through a success-oriented program focused on meeting residents where they're at on this journey with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. At Oak Park Place, loved ones find comfort and connection through caregiver support groups. Oak Park Place Senior Living with locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
This is Gary D'Amato, Senior Writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf on the internet and on your radio dial. The voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Back at TPC Wisconsin, along with Dennis Tiziani, I'm Paul Brown. You've got some news that you want to share, and the date of that news that becomes important, apparently, is August 1st, huh?
Right, we got it going. The golf course moving along a little bit more rapid than we lost some time.
That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but, you know, the sand topping, most of the irrigation is in, and we're going to seed on August 1st. That means in September, we'll be cutting grass in September.
Why is it so important, as you say that it be done specifically at that time?
Well, it takes about 7 to 9 days to germinate that seed, and then you need that growing season. And, you know, the ground temperature has to be 48 or greater, which it's more than that now, and it'll take a while meaning way probably into late October before that 48-degree temperature in November it might be. So we're going to have all of August, all of September, and all of October of growing. We'll have 90 days of growing. It's going to be, like I said, we'll be cutting grass in 30 days. We'll be cutting grass.
And when you're at that point, that's really going to give people a perspective of what this place is going to look like.
Yeah, you know, in a short period of time, you'll be able to see it pretty much now. We're taking some tours with people and showing them some of the holes just so they get a perspective. I got a comment of the kids flew over the course, couldn't believe what it looked like already, short period of time. So it'll be really good. And then we'll have all of next April, May, June, July to grow in. So tour ready August of 23.
And if people are interested, they better get their name in and at least get the information.
Yeah,
because you've got over a couple hundred names of people that have inquired.
Well,
huh?
257, yeah. But you know, the point is that it's starting to happen, and I know that come maybe in the month of October or so, that initiation fee is going to go up again. So if there's people out there wondering and waiting, I would get going and get involved.
You got to be feeling it now when you look at it compared to the old Cherokee.
Oh, yeah.
Then watch it go away and look at it now and go, this is a reality.
It's totally different. This is something that's going to last for a long, long time to people. People ask, why are you doing this? Why I'm doing it. I'm doing it for everybody to do it. Certainly, it is not going to do me that much good as it's going to do people in the future. We're going to have young people, and those people are going to have a championship course to play on. That's going to be a long time. Yep.
All right. Well, we're out of time and another one in the books here.
What are you going to do?
And thanks for reminding everybody about your
I
putting me down.
wouldn't let that go. I was heavy on the left-hander too, so you know. So it was pretty good.
For
But
Dave,
that was a good shot, though.
3 good shots.
A good shot.
For Dave McCann,
the putt
along
was
with
good.
Mr. Dennis Tiziani, I'm Paul Brown. That's going to do it, and thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Talking Golf on the Golf Effect Radio Network. So we bid you farewell from TPC, Wisconsin.
Good show, gentlemen.